Phillip Island last round brought some great racing, resulting in a slim margin for Harris to take the championship. But now we're headed to the iconic Silverstone. Champions have been born here and championships have been lost here. But neither of these will happen today, as this is an all-for-fun event at one of the most famous circuits in the world. We just get to sit back, have some fun. So get ready to watch the BiS F1600 Championship at Silverstone National. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm IMSA and SRO driver Michael Johnson. With me in the booth today is Daniel Zippy Salmon. Behind the scenes is our director, Ryan, Don't Call Me Jack Bauer. And he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. While Silverstone has some of the most famous and recognizable corners in all of racing, it's easy to mix up those names, especially when on the shorter national circuit. For help with that, let's go to our track guide.
Welcome to Silverstone. Most famously known for being the first circuit to host a round of Formula One, this place has since become synonymous with British motorsports. Hosting everything from sports cars to touring cars to open wheels and even motorcycles, it's a track that fits a wide variety of vehicles. With 3 different layouts to choose from, you've got a little something for any level of racing. The longest of those layouts boasts 18 turns along 3.19 miles. That comes out to 5.13 kilometers in metrics, so it can take a bit to get around it, even in higher powered machinery. Its main characteristics are the high-speed straights and corners and general lack of elevation change. Its most famous set of turns is most definitely the Maggots-Beckett sequence, in which anything with high downforce finds itself challenged with the rapid changes of direction. However, don't discount the first couple corners in this latest iteration of the track. Abbey and Farm often require a greatly balanced car and some serious bravery if you're side by side. Corners such as Village, Brooklyn, Stowe, and Vale see the majority of overtaking action, but in cars with less horsepower, expect the draft to offer other opportunities. The Hangar Straight is perhaps the most notorious for draft battles to erupt. All in all, this versatile racetrack located just northwest of London provides both history in its roots and action on the tarmac. The huge number of British fans that typically attend events are seldom left wanting.
And that's a look at the Silverstone circuit. This is an amazing track. But where we're looking at the national circuit, Zippy, what can you tell us about this particular configuration?
Thanks, Michael. It's going to be an entertaining race tonight. Throughout the last season, the Britannia iSports Formula 1600 Championship gave us corner after corner of passing maneuvers, and with the wide tarmac limits of this track, I'm sure tonight is going to be no different. With the Silverstone venue being home to the British Formula One Grand Prix, this is a circuit of history, prestige, and opportunity. This layout tonight is a shorter version, offering excellent passing zones. Drafting the car ahead of you will make for a quicker lap time, but will you stay with the lead, or will you fight for your place on the track?
Yeah, it's going to get pretty interesting going down into Brooklands, trying to get that car pulled around for Luffield. But, we should probably take a look at how this season ended up. At the end, I mentioned in the opening there, Keenan Harris just squeaked by 4 points ahead of Stuart Ross, with Stephen Prevan in third place. Great Drivers' Championship. What a battle. Team Championship, though. Gladiator Road Racing stood on top, 442 points, with Britain West Motorsports coming in second. Lima Racing, third out of that team's championship. So, it was quite a tight season. Looking forward to see what else comes up. Zippy, why don't you tell us what we have in store for us in tonight's race?
So tonight is a special event. It's just a kind of like a little one just to let people have a try with the car, see if they like the action of the racing. We're going to have 3 15-minute sprints tonight. The top 10 will invert for race 3. That always makes for some excellent overtaking. 2 spare cars tonight. Mike Broomhead, the organizer, being a little bit more generous, where it's a bit more of a fun event. Drive-through penalty at 12x. Be careful. Watch those track limits. Try and avoid the other cars. And then if you hit 17x, you're heading to the pits.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be night over for you there. At least race over of one of those 3. But, I think some of our listeners and watchers out there may want to join in on this hilarity, because I got to tell you, I've raced with some of these guys. I know what kind of quality racing you can get. If you want to be a part of it, this QR code right here on your screen, scan that. It's going to take you to the Discord, and you can get all the information you want about joining up and being part of this wonderful BiS crew. So, Zippy, I see. We got a pretty good race here. I mean, this is going to be fun. It's a fun race. It doesn't count for points. Doesn't really count for anything. We're got about 9 or so minutes left in qualifying. Interesting stuff, I think, is going to happen. Where are we going to find the most active areas, do you think?
I think it's definitely going to be going hot. That first little chicane. Let me find the picture again a second here.
Going into Maggots, is that?
Yep, going into Maggots. I did a couple of test laps just before we went live with the broadcast, and you can really feel like the question is, are you, as you can just see, is that Alex Ellis there doing exactly the same thing as I'm on about that?
Everybody gets really used to going straight through there because the Maggots, Beckett's, okay, because you come out of Cops and you go into Maggots, Beckett's, that's what you expect to do, and unless you've been practicing, well, you can go backwards like we saw someone there.
Well, absolutely. Like, the question is, are you going to go tight to the right-hand side and just try and get a better line, keep the car straight, keep it stable in the braking, but then lose on the exit speed? Or are you going to go to the left? I'm finding you braking just at the right at the start of the cones, at the curbing as well, so you got to try and avoid that. It's not too hard to unsettle these cars. Michael Broomhead's clearly showing that he's a better driver than me in this example, but I'm not surprised. I mean, that's why I'm in the commentary booth and he's out in the car.
Well, I've raced against Michael a couple of times, and I can tell you he is very fast. I do like racing against him. I know he's a quality racer, and I have no qualms going wheel to wheel or mirror to mirror with him. So I think he's someone to keep an eye out for in tonight's race, because he just kind of works his way up there. He's always kind of that guy who makes his way to the front.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely some talented drivers in here tonight. Alex Ellis, we've seen him both in the BiS F1600s and the Radicals, and the guy is an absolute machine. I mean, if I could do one lap and keep with him, I would be very pleased. We've got Connor Klubine in there. He's a legit, real Formula 1600 driver. There's a few of them in there, actually. I think Shane Vickery, I believe, is as well. Joseph Yang, he actually wrenches on him. I'm sure we've got some more in our Graham Bloben, I think, is as well. And I think Cedric O'Hine drives a Radical. I think he has one of those. But there is no shortage of, the good thing about the BiS series is we get both the sim races and we get the real life races as well. So it really does go. I mean, don't get me wrong, sim racing's slightly different, but if you come away and you went and beat a guy who has a real one, I mean, that's nothing but a good feeling in your stomach and a little bit of bragging rights for the next day.
Oh, without a doubt. I had a guy the other day, I was doing a regular iRacing race, and the guy sent me a little private message on iRacing. He's like, hey, are you the IMSA Michael Johnson? I said, yeah, I also race an SRO a bit too. And he's like, oh, I'm so excited, I'm a fan. I'm like, whoa, I've got fans, cool. So, and then my wheelbase all of a sudden just lost its mind on the second lap, and I went crashing into the wall. And I sent him a message. I said, sorry, my wheelbase crashed on me, but hey, you were beating me anyway, so good luck. Have a good time. So yeah, you can get out there. You can race against real drivers, real life drivers. I got to say, it is a little bit different. I've driven 1600s before, the previous style, not the ones with these side pods and such, and it is a lot of fun. I do enjoy these a lot.
Well, I tell you what, if you ever get the keys loose and you want to toss them over to me, please feel free. It's insured, I hope. If not, we'll work something out.
Well, the first step is going to be realizing race cars don't have keys. At least most of them. None of the ones I've driven have had keys, but but there's usually a very protective car chief hanging close by, so good luck getting in it.
Is there any particular drivers, like obviously Michael Broomhead, is there anyone else in here that you're in particular that you've seen, that you recognize, that a bit of a hard charger perhaps?
Hard charger from the front, Rui Teixeira. I've seen him out there. I can never catch him. he's just one of those alien level guys who goes. And I'm like, I once had a 4,500 rating, but I can't keep up with you because he's pretty darn quick. I think Jonathan Wager, I think I've either commented on his races or I've raced him. I think I've only commented. Michael Broomhead, obviously, I've raced him a few times. Great driver, enjoy racing with him. I've seen Phil Amaro around. Trying to think if there's anyone else as I scan through. Those are the names that I can pick up pretty easily. Callum Baxter, there's another one I've done a few laps up against. So yeah, there's a good group of people here that don't just do this. They go out into the regular iRacing stuff and race there as well. So just because they're racing here doesn't mean you won't see them out there. But if you want to get the best racing, honestly, get into one of these leagues like BiS, and I think you're going to have a lot more fun. I find that the leagues are a lot of fun. Not that the regular iRacing stuff isn't fun, but every once in a while you get someone in there who's just not altogether with it. Have you experienced that?
Oh, 100%. I prefer doing the league stuff, especially like BiS, because it's like iRating is a good idea, but then I know straight away there's people in this lobby, they may have a 1.5, 1.6 IR, and it's like going to the pool hall. You see the guy and he's like hitting the white ball off the table, and then he puts 20 bucks down. You're like, okay, this is going to be easy, and he hustles you for a few hundred. That's what iRating is in the league session.
Oh yeah, iRating means nothing in a league. Let's get that right out. Yeah, it means absolutely nothing, because I have gotten completely waxed by some guys who have 1,200 iRating because things like what happened to me, where your wheelbase just goes wonky and sends you off into a wall or something. So yeah, equipment failures can really mess you up. So, and a lot of guys, honestly, they don't do that. But let's take a look at this qualifying right now. We've still got that top two super tight up there. We got Ellis and Teixeira all 0.043 between them. That's pretty tight. With Yang coming up behind, people are going to have a good race here.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to it. That's an incredible drive by Yang, actually. Like, he's a quick driver, but to be competing with Ellis, I'm really looking forward to this. And then if you look at the gaps going throughout the timing as well, like, nobody's running away. Plus, where this is qualifying, it's hard to know which one of these is like a clean lap, which one of these has got a draft. The timing screens will tell us a bit, but they won't tell us that. So it's a case of, can Ellis go faster? Does he just need to get a tow from like Rui, for example? Is that going to go and send him into the 59s?
Yeah, it looks like Connor there is giving a little bit of a tow to Alex. Alex is getting a bit of a tow, but that kind of compromises his entry there, which he's able to hold on to, still staying out front. A fun thing with these cars, though, you can really let that rear end kick out there, and it holds. It feels like it's going to go. It's like driving one of those old Crown Victorias, where the rear end just kind of sets out and runs. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see who's able to get these fast laps with and without the draft, I think.
So my big, I'm wondering if we should have like a little coffee bet on this one. Do you think they're going to get round maggots on lap 1, or do you think we're going to have a multi-story parking lot?
I think they're going to get around. Some people will do it backwards, just like that. You're seeing there. Yeah, a perfect example of that was Alex Ellis trying to really make it. He must be listening in. You know what? That's what it is. He's listening in while he's qualifying. That's how good he is. So yeah, he was able to listen in and show us that reverse entry coming out of Megas.
It's the alternative line, just as we see there as well, Rui. It's interesting, I was playing with this in the thing. There is no off-track limit there. In that final corner, you can cut right by the wall.
Yep, as long as you've got those left side tires touching that inside line, you're good to go there. I have actually overrun that a couple of times, but it's hard to do because you're probably hitting the wall in this car. If you get inside, there are other cars, I think like the Formula V, you can fit up inside there and it will give you an off track and a cut corner. But right there, that's not a cut corner. So I like to use it, and I think everybody here you're going to see is using it too.
Beautiful view of Silverstone there.
Yeah, absolutely love this track. But let's take a look. I think we've got our starting lineup about ready. So on the first row, Alex Ellis. We were just watching him go backwards through maggots. Alongside of him, Rui Teixeira. Joseph Yang is going to be in third. Connor
Klubine.
Fourth, Klubine. Thank you, Connor. and another Connor in fifth, with Andrew Hardman in sixth, Jonathan Wager, Callum Baxter, Serge Gushin, and then Shane Vickery in 10th. Take it on from row 6.
And on the sixth row, we got Val Di Pietro, Joey Haynes, he's from the Radical Series, Michael Broomhead, Bill Pritchard, CRL Rainbow Warriors, Robert Covey, one of GSR own presenters as well, Thomas Langell, John, I'm sorry, John, we really should get your pronunciation, John Bemberley, Graham Robin, Cedric O'Hyan, and Rinson Lowe. And
then let's just take a look through here, row 11 up through 15. That'll be the back end of our field as we get ready to watch the start of this race. They're going to rev those engines up. It's a nice cool 67 Fahrenheit, 20 Celsius. They're gritting up here waiting for that green light, and this is going to be a standing start. So quick little quali, and now revving up. It looks like time to drop that flag any moment now. Come on, guys.
Wait on
Barney the flagman. Actually, yeah, we are waiting on the front row. There we go. Alex has popped on. Now waiting for Rui. Rui's going to drop in here. Once he's in, we should go straight to that couple of seconds countdown. Probably trying to change out that setup to make sure. Nope, actually, this is
fixed setup. The only thing he can change is his bladder.
Change his bladder. Well, brake bias. He may be still looking at a different brake. Oh, there we go. He has popped in on that red car there. And there they go. The engines rev up. We're going to take a look here, getting that clutch bite point. Lights are out, and off they go. A little bit of wheel spin from Rui Teixeira, and he takes up the inside into first place, running up that inside. Can he hold on to it with Alex on that outside, trying to look up the inside of him, making this run down the straightaway to get to maggots? They are side by side, wheel to wheel. Will one of them go through backwards? We know Alex was practicing that on the power coming out down the club straight.
Oh, it's going great. Janateas, he's through clean as well. He's made a passer there at the race start. Up one so far. Looking at the timing, not seeing anybody who's particularly crashed out. John Bemberlud, he's up 3 at the minute, so this is going well for him. Hopefully he can keep it clean.
Yep, looking good. Rui Teixeira still holding on to that second place. He's got Connor Klubine. How did you say it? Klubine, I think. Klubine. Really making a push up close behind him. Look at how tight he's getting up in there. That little pack up front. We're going to get a little peloton out of these guys, I think, pulling away, trying to hold on. Now, I think Connor's going to try to do that with a little bit of a draft, but let's watch them as they head back down into the first corner here. That was already a lap. So these are quick laps, running right about a minute as this little pack tries to make its way again. Look at that. Those 3 are absolutely trying to pull away.
Oh, nose to tail action, but I'm actually watching the Connors behind in 4th and 5th. It's Connor versus Connor action. These guys have been basically doing most of the last lap just side by side. I mean, are they going to fight for position? You can see it's costing them to the 3 ahead. And now we've got another one entering the mix as well. Is that Hartman?
I am trying to...
Oh, it's Baxter.
It's back. Yeah, there you go.
Baxter.
Going around, taking out 2. Well, looks like we have 2 first chances to get that spare car. Although, you know what, these things can take a roll pretty well. So I'm wondering if he's going to be able to just drive it on, or he might need to reset. We'll see what happens. But meanwhile, back at the front, Rui Teixeira, 1 minute 0.9, and it's only going to go up from there. We've got Alex Ellis still back in first place, I should say. There was a little bit of back and forth on that first lap, but right now he is back in first place. But Teixeira is holding on tight to that tail. He wants to get in there. He is probably going to make a good attempt. I would expect a little bit of a defense here while Connor sits back and just watches from the catbird seat.
That's definitely, again, like, you can go and you can fight these guys, but I know if I was Connor Klubine in this, I probably wouldn't want to try and stay with them, because as soon as you start going side by side, you're so compromised on the exit speed. you're going to lose Ellis, and Ellis is just going to run away. I mean, we've seen him do it. You know, if you leave this guy to his own devices, he's gone. You can stay with him. Please do. Chase him. I want to see somebody bring a challenge to Ellis.
Yeah, if I were Alex Ellis right now, I would be rooting for Connor Klubine to be running all up onto Texera and making his life miserable. And Connor really needs to understand, oh, we've got an off back there. That was from, that looks like Joseph Yang? Was it? Or no? Who was that? Yep, that was Joseph Yang. Went off a little sideways back there. He was running up front pretty well.
That was Maggots. That's the corner we set to watch. You know, it's just so light on the back end of the braking.
Yeah, coming into Maggots now, let's take a look at the GSRC replay. Zippy, why don't you talk us through this?
Well, obviously we've got a lot of cars on the grid, which is fantastic. See Yang, he's going around turn 1 there. Oh, turn 1. Back end just got light.
Yep, it sure did. Looks like he might have tried to dab that brake a little bit to get the nose down because he was wide off that apex. So he was either trying to keep from getting that 1X, and I'm like, you know what? You got 13 of them before anything bad happens, so you may as well use it. But wow, look at this gap. Oh, these guys are back into this nice little pack again. I think Connor has probably gotten the idea that, yeah, I don't want to put too much pressure on Texera because I like being up here in the front.
Oh, absolutely. And you can see as well where these guys, they're not really fighting like wheel to wheel in every corner. They've already pulled away like a 3-second gap. It's fantastic. I mean, that is a way to do it. You've got like a group of 3, and then you've got like another group of 3, and then you got a couple of like cars bunched together to really start to spread the pack a little bit. You just got to choose your battles. I mean, the question is, do you want to have immediate track position, or do you want to go for the higher points? Well, the higher finishing position.
Yeah, no points today, but you still, I mean, they're race car drivers. They're gonna go for it, right? I mean, I do. I don't care if it's for points. Although I gotta say, I honestly will sit back and wait for a better opportunity, especially in a longer race. But we've got a little under 10 minutes left in this race. And there's that cut we were talking about as Alex Ellis takes the fastest lap of the race away from Texera. So, yeah, good run here. These guys, ooh, nice move from Serge.
Oh my gosh, it's tight again, but they're going to lose so much time fighting against each other, but that's okay. That's not an us problem. We get to watch them go wheel to wheel. I'm really hoping that with this track being so wide, I'm hoping before the end of this tonight, I want to see at least 4 cars wide and actually get around the corner.
You can do that there as you're coming up to the perpendicular entry to Aintree. I'm so used to doing it. Yeah. As Connor gets pretty tight in there. Wow, that was close. But look at that. Rui is closing up on Alex still. This little pack, I don't think they're content being 3 seconds ahead because they're fighting and still pulling away. So good on you guys. Keep it up. Wow, look at that gap. That is a huge gap. And Connor Klubine comes in with a 1:06. Trying to pull away the fastest lap. Let's see what it holds. You know, with this group right here, we might even see something under a minute.
Oh, they're definitely, when they were talking in practice, they were saying that they were able to get to the 59s, but track conditions will play a big part of that. And not only that, who you're racing as well. You may not necessarily take your optimal line. If you've got Rui behind you, are you going to go for the necessarily the quickest line, or are you going to make sure you position that car just to inconvenience the guy? You know, you don't want to lose too heavily on your exit speed, but you don't want to just give him an open door either.
Yeah, talk a little bit about making the car wide. Everybody's heard the phrase, the comment, hey, make that car as wide as you can. How would you describe that?
So the best way I could describe that is, say you're coming up to an intersection, for example, you can turn right. All right, a lot of people just put the car in the middle of the lane. You block the guy behind you. If you go to the very left, they can slip by. Well, we're trying to do the opposite in this. We want to block the guy behind us. We want to make sure he doesn't have a little sniff. Because if he puts the nose in and he starts to really push for that corner, like here, great example from Val Di Pietro, you just start to get a nose in, and you know, are you going to get around the corner? Action happening behind us. They're now side by side as well. You got to choose your battles, but oh my gosh, fantastic racing. And then you can see as well, you've got CRL coming in the background there. That's going to be, is that CR Reed or is that Bill Pritchard?
Hard to say. With the team cars, sometimes you have to just guess and hope you get it right, because the team cars are more or less identical. But we've got a lot of good racing all up and down the field. We're on board right now with William Pritchard.
Yeah, that's Bill Pritchard.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well here. This is another one of these little packs, just like what we were talking about. And Alex Ellis takes, I think, maybe 100th out of Connor's fast lap. So, like I said, those guys are not fooling around. They're making those hard laps and still pulling away. But here we are on Pritchard. Check this out. Watch as that crew. So that's exactly what you were talking about. There was the allowance of letting that car slide up underneath there, and then they had to back out to not make contact. So sometimes you can play to your advantage to do something like that. And here we come. We've got too wide, but that was way wider than I thought it should have been.
I've raced with Bill Pritchard and the guys over at CRL, and these are very gentleman races. They are. My mentor is actually CR Reed. I don't think he's still in the session. I think he's had to disappear, but he taught me low risk, high reward. Another way put, in order to finish first, you have to finish. And I think Bill's very, very good at that. I've seen him do it. He's not one to make a late lunge, and especially in a field of cars like this, attrition is a big part of it. As I'm looking through the standings, I mean, Joseph Yang, he's dropped 11 places. Connor Janateas, he's dropped 16. We've got people in here that have gained 11 places.
Yeah, good movement here too. I mean, I think we've got, let's see, Yang fell back 11 places. We've got John, whose last name we can never agree on the right way of saying. He's up 8. But Joey Haynes is up to 4th. He just passed recently Jonathan Wager. And those guys are having a pretty good little battle up there. I was watching that in my little side monitor, thinking we might need to see something going on there. But look at that. He's up in 4th, started in 12th. Kind of like what I do. In the sim, I am not the greatest qualifier. Sometimes I get a good hot lap down and it just works. But most of the time, I save all my juice for the race. And it looks like he's doing kind of the same thing, because moving up quite a bit here.
I'm very much the same, Michael. If you ask me to set a blisteringly fast lap, I'm not the guy for that. However, if you give me traffic, I mean, the good thing about the racing as well is, all right, these guys can kind of talk to each other if they wanted to over the mic and stuff like that, but the whole psychology part, like, you can play the guy in front of you, so sometimes, especially for an endurance race, you can ride the bump of the guy ahead of you, and he doesn't know if you want past, if you just want to try and intimidate the guy. I mean, that's part of the racing. I mean, it's quite a short race here in the F1600. It's just 4 minutes to go. But a lot can happen in 4 minutes.
Yeah, like 4 more laps. And it looks like Jonathan Wager just got back around, and he's going to lose it again. But back up front, we're on board with Alex Ellis. This little pack up in the front. Okay, now we're back on this little group. So this is Wager. So back to the front again. Sorry to keep bouncing around on you guys, but another fastest lap, shaving it bit by bit, just under a 1 minute point 6. Alex is leading this group, trying to stay out front. I think we're waiting for that last minute move here. I think Rui's going to try to put a nose in somewhere, and it could end up that Connor comes out the victor if that doesn't go exactly the way the front two plan.
I think that's the way to do it. Connor is definitely, he's familiar with these cars, and they've gone from having like a 3-second gap to a 3.6, so they've now got like 6.5 seconds on the rest of the pack. They're building a bit of a buffer. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this is a fun race. I don't know about you, Michael, but I'm going for the win.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It looks like we've got Jonathan Wager going a little bit wide there. Can he hold on to it? He's still got a nose in front as we come around here. And we are on board. That's going to be with Shane Vickery, and he is going to try to tuck up under. So now it looks like Jonathan is back in front. Joey Haynes trying to get his nose back in there. This is a good little battle. This is almost more fun than the battle up front. Although up front, there goes that. It started. Look at that. It's time to get it going. We're down under 3 minutes. So 2.5 minutes to go here. That's about this lap plus 2 more, depending on when they cross that finish line. It's going to be tight. So I think we might actually get, probably 2 more laps after this.
That pressure cooker is on high. Rui just did the last lap was the fastest. And there you go, making a move on Ellis there. Klubine's been a very smart man, I think. I would stay out of that battle for now. See if he can make a late pass. I don't think we've not really talked about yet tonight. Where is like the strategic pass? So sure there are passing zones at different points of the track. But if you go and pass at one point, is it then going to mean that you're then going to get passed just before the finish line? You want to stage when you make that pass. So if you take, for example, Road Atlanta, okay, you can pass on like that first little straight after the chicanes. But then you're just going to get passed on the back straight anyway, so you're better off to just wait your time and do it into the last chicane if you're going for that final position.
Yeah, and right here it looks like coming around to the Aintree portion of this down the club straight heading to Brooklands. Who's in the lead on this? It looks like Ellis is still holding on to the lead, but Teixeira, he really wants this. But speaking of wanting to hit Connor, he's holding on to this. He may be trying to make just a massive push for second. Ooh. Was there contact on that? I think there may have been.
I'm not too sure. I mean, that was.
There. That was definitely contact. That was a little bump. Oh, hey, I'm in charge here. We've got a back marker there.
Yeah, I think that may have been. Was that Cole Janateus? He would be in a white car. I'll double check. Yeah, that was Cole Janateus. He'd definitely get out of the way. He's a respectable racer for sure. But oh my gosh, a bit of he's off now as well.
Yeah, final lap here. Taking a look at these guys. Taking a quick glance back, but we're going to stay with this. But Joey Haynes is really making a strong push, but sticking with these guys. Teixeira is back into the lead. Can he hold on to it? Is Connor going to be able to hold on to that? Oh, Connor is man, talk about being in the catbird seat. Ellis back in front by the slimmest of margins, under a tenth of a second. He's just coming around. Everybody getting a little bit wiggly and wild. Connor trying to come up that inside. I think he wants to try to follow through. Let's see if we can get on the power quick enough, but it looks like Alex Ellis is going to hold on to this if they can keep the pedal to the metal. It looks like this 1-2-3 is going to be 1-2-3. We've got, it's going to be Alex Ellis, followed by Rui Teixeira and Connor Klubine right behind him in third place. Taking a look at that fourth place finish, though, it looks like Jonathan's going to hold on to that fourth place. Man, what a hard run right there at the end.
That was a fantastic battle to watch. I'm seeing the cars, and the beautiful thing about open cockpit is I'm literally watching the wheel, and I'm like, if you're looking like at them vertically, there's like, okay, that's Alex's wheel, that's Rui's wheel, and then that's Alex's wheel, and like they're just in the cross in a straight line, and I'm just waiting for something just to go just a little bit over, maybe a little bit of net code, or maybe a little bit of rubber touch, and like watch the Skittles fly everywhere.
Yeah, quite the race, though. Wow, what a fantastic run. As we take a look at our top 10 finishers, we had Alex Ellis, Rui Teixeira, Connor Klubine. I still am not saying it right, am I? One of those. And then Jonathan Wager, Shane Vickery, Serge Gushin, Andrew Hardman. John, sorry, we still don't know how to say your last name. Joey Haynes got caught up in a little bit of that battle there for fourth place. A little bit of an incident at the end, fell back to ninth. Val Di Pietro making a nice run there up at the end to get into 10th place.
And in 11th, we had Bill Pritchard, followed by Thomas Langill, Mike Broomhead there in 13th with the 00 car, Renson Lowe, Robert Covey, GSRC's finest, and then CR Reed. Was he actually in the session? I don't think
he was. He was 41 seconds back.
Damn! Come on, CR.
And here's the rest of our field taking a look as our current field for the second race is getting lined up. Looks like everybody's trying to get there on the front row. We've got Alex Ellis, Rui Teixeira, Connor Klubine, Jonathan Wager, Shane Vickery. This is just the order we just read. So it was by finishing position. Row 5, looking at row 6. It's going to be about the same, but as they rev up here, going to try to catch that bite point. We've got lights ready to go, and they are out. Off they run. A little bit of wheel spin once again for Teixeira, but it looks like Alex is going to try to hold him off. It took a slightly different line coming off the corner or coming off the start position that time. He wants to really open this up. 1, 2, 3, just like we saw them finish before. Jonathan Wager in 4th, Shane Vickery in 5th. Everyone holding on to their positions.
Ooh, that's contact.
Oh, a little bit of contact.
Vickery's round.
Going to go out to the front, but nope. He's falling back again. Ooh.
I don't know how Ellis survived that. Vickery locked up trying to avoid it all. But the question is, are they going to get to have basically finish the race that they had earlier? Somebody's dropping back. Is that Rui's dropping back? Maybe a slowdown? I'm not sure. Quite hard on the brakes there. Contact again. Ben Belut there. Having contact with Serge Gushin.
Yeah.
Lively start.
Jonathan Wager, though, made his way from 4th to 1st through that little mess, able to navigate the craziness, and that put Ellis back into 2nd place, but only about 3/4 of a second there. Teixeira, another 6/10 back. Hardman just behind there. This is going to end up being an interesting race.
Oh, that's Valde Pietro going around. Caught Jen Belut's like the outside pod. And the thing about accidents is trying to avoid them is not always as easy said than done. Chaos, panic, and disorder. My work here is done. We're going to need to clean up on that one.
Yeah, clean up on the first corner, that's for sure. But, you know, as I always say, and usually do, go where they were. So if you see a car spinning in front of you, you don't want to go where they're going because that's where they're going. You want to go where they were. So once you find that spot, now occasionally this can bite you in the butt because they stop and the car spins around and they start going the other way. But typically they're just going to keep spinning off the way they were going. So that's a good plan usually. Now, anyway, let's take a look back into this race though, because we've got Jonathan Wager still out front, but right behind him, only at less than 2/10 as he goes very wide on the first corner. Right behind him, that's going to be our race winner from race 1, putting some major pressure on. And look right behind him, that would be the person who just set the fastest lap, Rui Teixeira.
Oh, I'm sure that John Wager is definitely sweating a little bit there as we have a look at this replay. Mike Broomhead. Does he dodge it all? He does. Oh, maybe not.
Oh. And then gets a little tail happy coming around, and you got to put those brakes on, and they may have been on, to be fair, because you know the car, it can only brake so much.
Definitely.
It's moving faster than it looks, honestly. But back up front, what do we have? Looks like our former first position, Jonathan Wager, has fallen back to 3rd. Alex Ellis and Rui Teixeira have overtaken him and are putting the beat down on him. Rui Teixeira just pulls the fastest lap again, so getting quicker and quicker.
I'd be keen. Andrew Hardman, I've seen him in other BIC events. BIS. I'm expecting him to do well. If he can catch up to this pack, we're going to have a 4th person join the party.
Yeah, Hardman, I'm pretty sure I've done commentary for him. I'm not 100% certain I've raced with him, but my recollection is he is very, very fast.
The man can drive.
Yes, he can. So here we are on board. This looks like Alex Ellis. I think we're going to see the pass that he made here. Look at this. So this is coming down into Brooklands. I think Jonathan just was like, you know what? I don't have enough liquid in my body to sweat out as much as I'm going to need to stay here. You guys just go ahead. I'm going to let you go. So that was, he kind of, rolled over a bit. And I think he's sitting back right now, still holding on. Look at that. I mean, he's not that far behind these guys. He's really holding on nicely and probably trying to pick up some tips as that rear end gets a little wiggly.
He's really fighting the car. I think he realizes with Ellis as well, he maybe doesn't quite have the same pace, but if he can just stay in the draft, he's got a chance of pulling away from Hardman. I know that would certainly be my plan.
Yeah, I have to laugh anytime somebody says the words to the effect of pulling away from Hardman. Yeah, that rarely happens. Hardman's got quite the gap behind him, looks like, and I think he's trying to close this up. He is getting pretty close in here. But anyway, look at that wheel work there from Jonathan. Jonathan's trying to hold on. Beautiful use of the track, though. Look at that, just beautifully setting the car around, not letting it slide too much. You don't want those tires to get too hot. But look at all that use of the exit space there. That is good driving. Jonathan, you might be in 3rd place, but man, you're first in my heart right now.
You have to send him an autograph, Michael.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll be right on it. I love it. I'm telling you, when somebody uses the track like that, it really warms my heart. I'm like, okay, well, 90% of my job is done. Now I got to get in and really take care of the tiny minutia to get you up there. And when you watch a driver like Alex here, Alex is still in the lead. Alex and Rui, both of these guys, just crazy fast. When they are out in front of you and you're just sitting there watching, and you can hold on like this. You know, it's just little tiny things that I've got to go in there and spot on the people I'm coaching and say, all right, well, you know, we can make this little change here. And sometimes it's just the way you breathe. Now, we're coming back here into P8. This is Robert Covey. He's coming up now on Serge. This has been a battle that's been brewing for a little bit. He's only about 3/10 off, but look how he's closing it up there. A little bit different line through the corners in here. So that's one of the nice things about this track, I find, is you do have a couple of different ways, especially when you're going into Brooklands there. You can set it up differently.
As Alex Ellis comes in with the fastest lap, minute 6.6. It's going to be good as well. Excellent overlay there from our cameraman Ryan. Really good battle there. I'm wondering as well, are we going to get more of a battle, or do you think Rui and Alex are going to try and pull away from Wager? I mean, to be fair, he's really hanging with him. I'm expecting Hardman to catch up some more, but I don't think he's quite been able to deliver at the minute.
Yeah, Hartman's still holding on back there. He's got about a 3.2 second gap, and that's opened up slightly, maybe 3/10. So I think this draft, like you were saying before, Jonathan's holding on just enough to be in the draft. He is just about a half a second off Teixeira right now. That is closer than I think he expected to be. Like we saw with that pass, he just held to the left side and was like, yeah, go ahead, you got it. And then he's hung in there. He is absolutely hung in there. He may be doing what Connor was trying to do in that last race, which is just pick it off when it's time. And he pulls the fastest lap. And I think that was faster than the fastest of the last race.
I believe so, but he's down into the 0.4s. As I'm looking at the lap timing overall as well, these front three are the only guys really getting into the minute range. We've got Callum Baxter. He's just snuck in with a minute 0.8, but we got Wager there with a 0.4, Rui there with 0.5, and then Alex there with the 0.6. Like, yeah. Jonathan is not out of this race yet. He has still got a point to prove. I think he's just quietly biding his time. We're just past the halfway point. As you can see him there, really getting close to Rui. The big, like you were saying, like using with the track, especially with the momentum of these vehicles, you can't afford not to. You really have to carry as much of it as you can around the course.
And I'd like to give a shout out to our hard charger. At least I think he's our hard charger. 22 positions up. Callum Baxter, you were just talking about him.
Damn.
That's quite a run. Oh, Jonathan Wager. Hang on. I'm sorry, Callum. I'd love to give you a little more camera time in those 22 positions, and I think you just made it 23. You did just make it 23. Quite the run. But Jonathan Wager, he is not messing around. Look at this. He is right back up with these guys. I think he was just sitting back observing, picked out a couple of things, and he is right up. That was the fastest lap we've seen in 2 races. That was a 1 minute 0.3. And I think he might even top it again on this one if my predictive is right. Oh, yeah, he just fell off a little bit there because I think he's having to not run into Teixeira and Ellis.
Well, he's carrying so much speed with the draft and stuff like that. I am finding he's putting in a few corrections. I'm hoping he can keep it together. He's definitely keen. You know, at first I thought he's like, okay, you know, I know these guys are quicker, but no, as soon as we said that, it's like we put the 4th of July right underneath the guy, and he's keen. I think he heard us, and he's like, hey, boys, watch this.
Yeah, he is definitely putting it down, and he's closing up right here. Look at this. He is under 2/10. He is actually getting a little bit of overlap from time to time. So I think he's going to put some pressure on these guys they were not quite expecting. Yes, it is fueled partially by that draft. But right now, look at this. Alex is going to get a little bit of a draft. I think he's close enough to that back marker there that he can get a tiny bit of draft out of that, help him try to pull away. Because Teixeira is not messing around. Oh, so much for the draft from that back marker, though. That's going to be
that's Thomas
Langville. Yeah, so Thomas had a little bit of an off there. I like Thomas's livery he's got there, though. That's a pretty nice one.
Oh, it's definitely going to be. It's good to see the paints as well. Like, I've not really, where this is a fun event, I've not got to learn too many of the paints yet. I recognise some of them from the previous season, but oh my gosh, they're overlapping again. Like the top three are broke down by less than 0.3 of a second. Is Jonathan going to go from third to first in one hit?
Oh, watch this. So he's got a really wide entry there. Can he slip up underneath? He's got the power down. Ooh, and now Alex comes back over. Nope, Alex is trying to protect that P2. Oh, not so much. He came back over. He was given a little bit of a draft to Rui, gave a little bit of a draft to Jonathan, and now he's just kind of playing around with him. It's almost like he's toying with them.
Well, the back markers, I think, have seen him coming and just basically jumping off the ship trying to get out of the way. Like, they know this is like Clash of the Titans going on over here. Fantastic race. It's a fantastic race to watch, but I don't know who I want to put my money on at this point. Like, it could go any of three ways. I mean, Ellis, I've seen him race, you know, he would be my known entrant, but Rui and both Jonathan, they're like, you know, it depends on which corner, it depends on who's in the lead. Like, Rui goes a bit wide, it's giving Ellis a draft there. Wages right up the rear end. Oh my gosh, I thought there would be a free wide in there.
Yeah, so, you know, just a little interesting side note. Ellis is currently in the waiting room. He's expecting to win this and get an interview. We could go ahead and pull him in because we've got a 3-wide situation here. So we work their way down to Brooklands. This could get really exciting. I think Rui's going to... No, I was thinking Rui was going to come out ahead, but a little bit of contact.
Hey, boys. Thanks for joining me. A little bit hectic here, eh?
Yeah, you seem to be a very busy man, and yet you're going to multitask. I mean, this is something I know I, as a man, am not known for, but power to you. You can be quicker than me and talk to us in the interview box and lead the race. Power to you, sir. Keep going. Let's hear what you got to say.
Yeah, thanks. Got to just try and bring it home. Rui's got so much pace, so there's no point even trying to break away right now, right? So it's all about strategy for the...
So were you thinking the last race that Connor was going to try to sneak in there behind you, or did that kind of all surprise you?
No, for sure. Like, I'm always looking for potential picks. Like, if there's a close driver in P3, I'm always looking like, here's making a move. But see the slow car up here on the left? Like, there's always potential. No, but there's always potential for them to get involved, right? So I'm always looking at ways to set up a move. Like here, I'm compromising his entry. I'll get a good exit.
Yeah, let's take a breath while you make that exit. And power down. Look at that. Beautiful use of the track, though.
So, yeah,
I think you were edging. You were out there with the weed eater, edging the grass on that one. Now.
Yeah, and so here I'm going to hold him down tight just to compromise his entry, and then I'll get a good entry on the outside.
Yeah. You know, you probably have a few points to spare. You could have gone wide on that one, right?
Yeah. But I like to go with as few as possible, right?
Yeah, it's always a goal, but you know, this isn't a regular iRacing race. This is I got 13 to use. I like to use them personally if I can get away with it.
Yeah, if I need to, if it really comes down to it, I probably will, but we'll see.
All right, so
we
you're going to pass
one more lap,
Brooklands? You're going to make it happen in Brooklands?
No, like I said, it's all about the setup. So right now, I'm more evaluating how he's racing me, where he's strong, where he's not. Like even here, I could be P2 on the last lap, and depending on how he enters.
Yeah, he's a little wide there. He cuts out a little wide.
See, it's not enough.
Same position you are, and he's just not getting wiggly enough.
Right, so I need to lead before that. So I'll make my move before that.
So are we looking for a pass into Maggots, you think?
Stay close here, good exit. I think it's too early, but I can defend. So I'll at least make it look like I'm going to make the move here.
That is part of it as well. You know, like, he can't hear you unless he's watching the stream at the same time, but the psychology of racing the guy ahead of you, trying to force them into an error. Like, Alex, you demonstrated that beautifully. Like, it's not just your position on the track, it's what image you are portraying to the rival driver on the track.
Right. You see, like, all I'm trying to do is get him out of position. Here, holding him a bit tight, good entry in.
And then pop out.
And then now good exit.
The over-under here. Yeah, see if you can get this over-under. This is going to be the tough one right here. We are on the final lap. And, you get up to the inside. Can you hold it? Oh, this is going to be a race to the finish. What?
Oh,
Wait,
God,
wait,
I had it.
Oh no! Can you get it? Nah, I don't think you're gonna make it here. But wow, what the? I'm gonna eat my words. I'm gonna eat my words.
I don't want to call it. That's photo
Oh.
finish.
So close.
It was almost.
So
You know-
P2 there at the finish. What a run though. That was a beautiful setup. I love hearing you talk your way through it. It's very similar to what I think when I'm racing. So when I'm out there trying to do the same things, you had a really nice, calm, relaxed description of that. Usually I'm on the radio talking to my car chief or something, but you're on board with us and talking and just kind of like, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't know. It's a fun extra challenge, and I figured you guys definitely enjoyed it too, I'm sure. But no, it was cool. Yeah, because at the end there, it's all about that final move, right? Like, you don't know where to make the move because you can get you right back into the final corner. So this track's pretty cool because most tracks it's like you get it done in one spot and then you're clear, right? But here you're vulnerable everywhere.
It's kind of like Spa, so all right, you could try and pass like in turn one. It depends on which layout you are, but the tight right-hander at Spa before you go through Urshruz and then the back straight. But you could pass the guy there, and then he's just going to blitz you on the straight anyway, and then you're stuck behind him for the rest of the track.
Exactly.
Unless you're Kimi Räikkönen passing Michael Schumacher. If you remember that one, Kimi got the DRS going into La Source, got around Schumacher, passed him going down the hill, actually passed him right as they caught the DRS, got to hit the DRS going downhill to Eau Rouge, up through Radillon, all the way down the straight. He had all the way down Kemmel Straight. He had DRS and was able to pull away. So sometimes it works to your advantage.
Oh, I got to say, Alex, thank you for coming in while you were racing. That was fantastic. I'm sure we'll catch up with you later. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing this reverse grid for the final race. Yourself, Rui, I think, Jonathan in there as well was having a good battle. Connor, I want to see what happens because you're now going to be impeded by these other drivers potentially. All we're going to see is there going to be chaos, and you're going to have to try and make one of these recoveries that I've seen you do so many times before. But we'll leave you in peace for now. Thank you for dropping in. That was fantastic. Highly appreciated it, and pure respect for you for being able to do it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, really appreciate it, and hopefully I'm talking to you again after the next one.
We've reached quota, but thank you.
Yes, reached quota, but that's okay.
We'll
it was a good chat during the race. I got to tell you that's baller right there. That's major baller. That I got to give him props.
Like, I generally prefer racing in traffic, but like hearing him talk his way through it as well, like I actually learned a bit there. I'm actually keen to try now. The problem with some of these races that we get to commentate on is you watch it and you're like, damn it, I could be having a go at this. And if you want to do that, this is the QR code that you need to look at. We can have that pop up on the screen for you there. If you want to be part of this racing and you want to race these people like Alex Ellis, you want to race CR Reed, Joey Haynes, Connor Giannateas, if you want to have a chance at having them bragging rights that you beat a legit racing driver, you got to show up and even have a go. So scan that QR code on your phone. That should point you to the Discord. We're getting ready for the winter series for the BiS 1600s. They're also going to be a radical series as well, organized by the same group. We're looking forward to seeing you on track.
Yeah, great group to race with, quite honestly. I get to see a lot of different groups out there, and I always talk about how good they are when they are good. I'll say, fun racing or whatever, but, when you get with a group like this, these guys are really, really high quality racers. They're not going to put you in a bad position. I mean, they'll race you. And we got a good taste of that with talking to Alex there on that last couple of laps. That was fantastic to really get inside the mind and see what he was trying to do. Oh, I'm feeling him out here. I'm just trying to figure this out. Oh, I'm pinching him down. I'm holding him to the spot off his line. And you saw him as soon as he told us, and he would pop right back out and try to make that over undercut. So you can learn a lot when you race guys of this quality, and you're definitely going to have some fun.
I always find as well, whenever I do a race and it's a broadcast event, I tend to watch it after. I'll be honest, it's more for the, oh my gosh, I'm on camera. Like, have the little vanity moment. But then as well, you watch what the pros do and you're like, damn, like, okay, this is what I need to do. And he's just like, he's put it in a different mindset. So sometimes you might watch these guys and you might go, okay, that's an interesting line, or they're braking a little bit different there, or, you know, they're trailing it or something like that. And usually that's what we end up talking about. But the psychology and like almost manipulating your opponent to where you want them to go, that's a new discussion point for me in the booth.
Yeah, and I want to go real quick and take a look at at least our top three. So we had Alex Ellis, who finished second that time. The gap was only 18 thousandths of a second. 18 thousandths. Well, you saw exactly what that was because we were on board with him. Rui Teixeira took the win there just by some fantastic defensive driving. He really allowed himself to compromise the car just a little bit. Jonathan Wager, even though he had that little incident right there at the end, towards the end of the race, he still came in third place. Andrew Hardman, a long ways back, 6.3 seconds. Sorry, no, that was Jonathan. But then when you got to Andrew Hardman, he was right there, about a half a second behind Jonathan. So that was super tight. That was crazy tight there at the finish. You know, it would be interesting to get like maybe a helicopter shot, slow-mo to come through there. I don't know if we can do that one, but I think we're kind of short on time. We're coming down. Just looks like we're going to start gridding up here for the next race. Starting grid. Remember, this is reverse of our top 10. So this is CR Reed, Val Di Pietro, Robert Covey, Serge Gushin, John, sorry, we still don't know how to say your last name, Callum Baxter, that 22 place run, Andrew Hardman, Jonathan Wager, Alex Ellis, and Rui Teixeira are in our top 10.
Okay, I'm going to try and fire these high speed. In 11th place, we've got Connor Janateas, 12th, Neil Severin, 13th, Cedric O'Hyan, 14th, Graham Lovin, 15th, we've got Shane Vickery in the 27 car, 16th, Renison Lowe, Bill Pritchard in 17th, Gary Wood in 18th, Joey Hayes in 19th, and Tom Lango in 20th.
And the rest of our field here, just the last couple of rows as we watch everything. Everyone is up on the gas, trying to get those engines warmed. The lights are up, ready to go. Bite point set, and they're off. Good little launch here. Nicely done. Rui Teixeira still back there. Winner of our last race in 10th, still stuck behind Alex, who's holding on to that 9th, but trying to make a quick pass up underneath. Let's watch this. Ooh, get a little bit of craziness out there. I think that was, I couldn't tell exactly who that was, but I think,
CRE.
Oh, bummer.
Damn, CRE, John Van Billard there. CRE as well, generally a very, very safe driver. It does take him a little bit to get warmed up. He's a more senior, seasoned gentleman. He wasn't asleep at the lights, but maybe he wasn't quite expecting the cold tires, and I'll have to catch up with him after the race.
Yeah, it's always interesting to get out. This car isn't quite as bad on cold tires as some, like say, the Cup car or some of the prototypes. Those cold tires are pretty tough, but look at this. Alex Ellis has moved all the way up into 5th. I think he's going to get 4th here. So he was in 9th. That's up 4 positions. Moving up, he gets the pass on Robert Covey, just able to get that nose ahead. Looking up after that first lap, getting his nose in on the run into turn 1. Good power down coming out of that corner. Got a little bit of compromise coming out of it. He wasn't quite sure what was going to go on behind him. And there we see Rui Teixeira trying to get around Val Di Pietro. That is Rui, right? I think
that is Rui.
That's Rui.
Rui is absolutely sending it.
That's 10th to 1st. I'm like, wow, look at Alex Ellis. He's moved way up here. No, Rui went from 10th to 1st. So not wasting any time there. Rui Teixeira gets back into 1st position, where he seems to be most comfortable over these last 2 races.
It's almost like possession is 9/10 of the law. In this case, 9 positions. Like, he's like, okay, that's my seat. This is my throne, and I'm just going to take that back. Like, hard charger at the minute. But saying that, we've got Connor Klubine. According to my timing, he's up 19 places.
Wow, 19. That's pretty good. That's tough to do. Let's see how he's able to go here. Although, looks like he may have gotten damaged backwards.
I may have cursed him inadvertently. I do apologize there, Connor.
Yeah. Now, meanwhile, Rui Teixeira, fastest lap of the race. We're going to see that really get chunks taken out of it. That was over 101. So Alex Ellis up to third now with his eyes on the prize, looking past Val Di Pietro, trying to make his way up there. But Val trying to hold on to this position. And is that Andrew Hardman? Yeah, we're on board right now with Andrew Hardman in P4, trying to get a nose down the inside as they come up to Brooklands. Val Di Pietro falling back to third place as Alex slides up into second, making that hunt on Teixeira.
And you can see there, Hardman's just going to get the nice exit speed there, a little bit of a tow from Val. As I'm looking at the I rating for like the top 4, top 5, so you got 4,500, 3,700, 32, 35. You know, that's for the top 4. These guys, they've proved their talents, you know, as Hardman makes a pass there around Val. Well, he's 95% of the way there. Let's see if Val puts up a fight. I don't know if Val seems particularly keen on the idea of surrender, but he's definitely putting up some resistance at the minute. And is that going to release Hardman to chase Ellis? Rui wasn't quite able to get away. Not quite. If he can just get onto the draft, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think we're going to end up with 2 battles here. I think Hardman and Pietro are going to have a battle. I think Teixeira and Ellis are going to have a battle. We're going to see how the race plays out.
And it'll be interesting to see, because remember, this is just a fun run. This isn't for points. This is just for bragging rights, and a fun track to do it at. Honestly, we all heard Ellis talking to us before how it's just a fun track. There are a lot of opportunities here. It really does make for good racing. Right now, though, taking a look at this battle for 8th, that's going to be Haynes, Wager, Lowe, trying to get in there with Yanelis close behind, and there he is, Michael Broomhead. Broomhead is really getting a nose in here. Is he going to be able to make this pass?
Well, he's in a good position. He's currently up 9 spots. He may be looking to increase that number looking at this, but he's got plenty of people near him. I mean, they're going 3 wide into like the most the weight sensitive part of the track. You can just see the back of Broomhead's car shaking a little bit there. It's like he's doing his best Shakira impression, I guess, just shaking the hips there. And he's there chasing the back of Conor Janateus, but if he can keep going through this pack, he could be on for the hard charger.
Well, Michael Broomhead, knowing those hips don't lie, trying to get up inside at Brooklands. Can he make it around? Oh, a little bit wiggly. Oh, and Broomhead, unfortunately, that wiggle causes him to take out 2 other cars. But I think, is he okay? Can he drive on for this? Nope. I think his front left is kind of messed up. It looks like those A-arms are a little shorter than they're normally supposed to be. But meanwhile, is this back up at the front? Is this going to be Teixeira and Ellis? No.
Yeah, Broomhead's heading into the pits. He's gone from chart topper to chart dropper. Mike, you're out of the running. Come back with another single on that one, sir.
Yeah, just got to think of another Shakira hit to apply here. I'm not sure which one that would be. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Alex Ellis still making this run on Rui. I think we're going to have pretty much the same commentary from him. If he were narrating this along with us, he would be able to say, here's what I'm doing. Oh, Teixeira gets a little wiggly. He pulls his own little Broomhead trying to go through there. Is Alex going to be able to make it around the outside? He goes a little bit wide. He wants to get this over under, gets the power down as they come out of the corner. This is a pretty much photo finish or a scripted end, except he's on the other side this time of that last lap. I don't know if he's going to wait around this time. He's going through in turn 1. He gets up on that inside. Power down. Yep, I think he's going to make it. Now he's got to defend off Teixeira, and Teixeira's going to try to get that nose in as they go into Maggots.
I will say that Alex, I've watched him before. I've always found him particularly strong on the brakes, and he's just demonstrated that there. I'm pretty confident I would have spun that, but going around turn 1, these guys are sliding the back of that car, inches to spare. Excellent demonstration of driving talent, and I think we're going to get to see a bit more.
Yep, now here we come back down into Brooklands. Once again, so many ways to enter and exit Brooklands. It's kind of like Sunset Bend at Sebring. There's 17 ways into turn 17, and there's 17 ways out of turn 17. It might be the 17th turn on the track, but they call it turn 17. because of 17 entries and 17 exits, and they're all right. Same thing there at Brooklands. You've got that opportunity to get in there, and you can choose the way you want to enter and the way you want to exit. Now we're coming up here. Let's take a look at this replay. This is going to be Bill Pritchett. Oh, looks like a little hot. Gets that rear end around there. Yeah, I'm thinking a little bit too late on the brakes. He saw what was coming up in front of him, thought he might have a chance, and then, well, it didn't quite work out. Came in a little bit too hot.
Looks like we got somebody new entering the fold as well, if I am reading correctly. And Hardman's getting a little bit closer, I find. Is he trying to edge up? Yeah, Hardman currently, I believe, second fastest lap.
Yeah, so, he's only about 8/10 off of Teixeira right now. So I think these two fighting, Alex and Rui, are putting together a little show for us up front. But the man with the best seat for this show, that's going to be Andrew Hardman. Andrew Hardman is really taking his eye and looking forward to see what these guys are doing, putting a gap there to Val Di Pietro.
With 6.5 minutes left to go, is he going to be able to close in? And then not only that, once you get there, you've not won the battle, you just showed up to dinner kind of deal. You still got to place an order and see if you get served a bit of steak. I'm hoping that he can get in there, get the knife and fork out, and try and position the car like in an opportune place to try and get involved with these two and just, shake them up a little bit, Having a battle between two cars is fun, but three, that's better.
This isn't that different from what we saw from Jonathan Waiter on the last race. And right about the same time, 6 minutes left to go, we may start seeing some fast laps from Andrew Hardman here. Andrew, no slouch on his own, but when you get a draft of two drivers as quick as Alex and Rui, that's only going to help him. I think he can probably close this up. I think we're going to see kind of the same thing we saw from Jonathan on that last race.
Well, not only that as well, because he's just far enough back, he'll be enjoying the draft without having to compromise any of his lines. He can run the optimal line, full speed. He's not got anybody close enough behind him to be an immediate pending threat. Lau's back about a second at this point, and he's closing in probably about 4 attempts in that last lap on these front two.
Yeah, so last lap, he was a minute .93. Teixeira was a minute .98, and Ellis was a minute .90. So they're pretty much pacing on that last lap, but it feels like he's getting closer, as looks like Teixeira has to back out of that a little bit. He's trying to not put them both in a bad position to spin them out and let Andrew Hardman take over the lead. But back on the power, look how close Hardman is now. Hardman is only about 4/10 off the back of Teixeira and a total of about half a second off the lead. And now we've got Teixeira trying to look up the inside. He has got that inside position. He's got his nose ahead, getting into turn one. Can he get the power down quick enough and not go too wide for, yep, looks like he's going to be able to hold on to that. But, oh, I think Ellis is going to come back here. Ellis has his nose in, power under braking. How can they hold on to this? It's an over-under attempt. Nice braking maneuver there from Ellis to not run into the back of Teixeira.
I'm watching Di Pietro behind you. He was really closing in. He was actually the fastest of the top four in that last lap, but he just got a little bit loose there, managed to hold onto the car. He's closing in as well. This may end up being a four-way fight, Michael.
Four-way fight for first. This could get exciting because looks like, well, I think we've got a little Tokyo drift happening here because Teixeira went really wide there. I think that was a four-wheel drift going on that one. And now he's trying to close back up onto Ellis, getting up tight in there. But, look at this. We have got a four-way battle now because Val Di Pietro is only about a half a second off, under a second to Alex Ellis with two cars in between. This is Draft City, and as these guys go too wide, that makes a giant hole in the air for Andrew Hardman to be able to choose where he wants to be.
And you can see there, I can't even say it now, Di Pietro, right there on the rear end of Hardman. And especially noticing the draft through turns 1 and turns 2, I'm finding that's the most prominent spot. I think where he got such a nice long stretch. And I'm really watching, so smooth on the brakes, very controlled. He is playing tactically. He definitely wants to get involved in this battle. And we've now got the top four. They're separated probably by less than a second at this point from like 1 to 4.
Yeah, it looks like only about 0.8 of a second right now, and this is getting to be an exciting little race. Andrew thought he had free reign to go in there and catch up and really mess with Rui and Alex, but I think Val had a different plan for this. And look at this, bouncing back and forth all over the track. Can he get up inside? Rui actually has about a half a car lead, but coming out of the corner, Ellis is able to regain the lead. Teixeira comes in, side by side, going in. We've got a little back marker traffic here, and I think on board here with Val Di Pietro, Val has a really good opportunity right now to get around Andrew Hardman. Andrew Hardman's trying to hold on, get around that back marker traffic. Back marker is kind of getting swarmed there. Coming in, and can Val make something out of this? I think Val's got a great opportunity right now.
He may have an opportunity, but the question is, when do you want to take it? Being the fourth car in the line, I think I'd be keen just to try and push forward. I don't know if I'd want to be in the lead right now. I think I'd certainly want to be the second guy in the row, though, just to try and get one of them photo finishes, the same as we had at the end of the last race.
We could get 4 wide across the finish line. We've got 2 laps left now, 1.5 minutes. Looks like 2 laps left as these guys, once again, 2 wide. Andrew Hartman wants to make it 3 wide. Look at that, he's got to back out just a little bit there. Almost made contact with Teixeira as they go into Maggots, coming back around. This is good positioning. I think Andrew Hartman has a decent chance to get higher up on the podium than P3. But you know what? Val Di Pietro, this is a great opportunity for Val to be the absolute spoiler for any one of those 3 cars you see up in front.
I'm watching him as well at the minute. He's definitely keen, but he is missing a little bit of the draft opportunities. Just not a lot, but he's just missing a little bit. Maybe he's going for a different line, but going down the front stretch, that last lap, honestly, like watching him, it's like watching a Mexican wave go across the stadium. You can see the front car, and they just ricochet behind him. It was quite artistic, actually. It's like they're doing it in formation. I wonder if we'll get a repeat of that again. Maybe I'm going to get my 4 wide scenario. I'm hoping for it. They're going into turn 1. Rui on the inside, Alex pushed out, Hardman having a sniff on the inside. Di Pietro, he's on the back there.
Run.
3 wide, that's contact, Hardman's off. And Di Pietro, he gets third. Hardman is bounced off. I think there may have been a little smidge of net code, a bit of wheel, touching wheel there.
It was strong wheel to wheel, and it looked like Teixeira was going to be able to run away with it, but that beautiful exit by Alex Ellis, trying to hold on, pushing down, trying to hold on to that. Looks like Alex Hardman not happy with that. A little bit of radio traffic saying, hey, come on. But, this is, again, it's just for fun. Look at that. Pushing out. It looks like Val is going to come into P2. Alex Ellis into P3, looking at coming up here into this little final bit. Is it going to hold on? Looks like Teixeira is going to be able to hold on to this, but Di Pietro wants to come in there. No! P2 for Val Di Pietro. Alex Ellis manages P3 after that little wiggly bit at the end there. And looks like Hardman's going to come in for P4. Serge just got 5. Jonathan Wager, P6. Nice run there at the end.
There's definitely a little bit of conflict going on in the radio chat. I'm there watching, trying to figure out which particular moment it was where the Teddies went out the pram.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of unhappiness there when Andrew. They were racing hard. It was hard to tell if there was anything untoward there. I doubt it. Like I said, I've raced with many of these guys. I've watched them race. I don't expect any of them, including Andrew Hardman. So I think these guys really did a great job. But let's go and take a look at our final results for the 3rd race. As we just said, that looks like Rui Teixeira takes 2 in a row. Val Di Pietro, beautiful run there at the end, coming up for P2. Alex Ellis getting a little bit wide there in the final corner, but able to hold on to P3. Andrew Hardman right up there going into the last lap at Maggots. Fell off, ended up in P4, had a good run to get up onto the podium. Serge Gushin, Jonathan Wager in P6, beautiful run there. Shane Vickery, Joey Haynes up to 8th. Cedric Ohayan in P9, and Connor Yanites in P10.
as we head down to the second part of the results. Joseph Yang in 11th, Gary Rudd in 12th, Bill Pritchard 13th, Dmitry Mochkin 14th, Neil Severin in 15th, Renison Lowe in 16th, Graham Robbins 17th, Phil Amaro 18th, C.R. Reed sadly had that turn 1 incident. He's in 19th, Robert Covey in 20th. One lap down, I'm sorry, Robert.
And then taking a look at the rest of the field here, 1 lap, 2 lap, 9, 10, 13, 14, and 16 laps down. I think that's going to be a D and S. But that's going to bring us up to our interviews. We're going to have, I think we're going to start off today with our P3 finisher. That would be Alex Ellis. So Alex, right there at the end of that run, good kind of work in it. You were doing exactly what you were talking to us about in that previous race. It just didn't quite work out. It got a little bit too wide on that final corner, and it looked like Val was able to slide up on the inside and take P2 away from you.
Yeah. Well, someone, I guess, wanted to use their bumper this race because I think about 6 cars had their races ruined by a certain someone. Don't want to name names or anything, but I'm sure you guys saw it. But I got punted wide twice. Pretty frustrating. Second last corner, I was next to him too, and he pushed me off. Like, I was there on the last lap. The only reason I went wide is because I literally hit the grass because he put me out there. So in my opinion, that's not racing, right? Like, there's a code that you race by, and that wasn't honored at all. So great night of racing, frustrating end to it. Congrats to Val, especially P2. That's a great result. Thank you to Michael Broomhead and everyone who put this on. It was a great event, and obviously thanks to you guys for the great broadcast.
Yeah, and 3 podiums in one night, nothing to shake a stick at. I think that's something to be pretty proud of. And it was great having you join us in the booth. Honestly, for the end of race 2, having you in the booth while you were fighting, I mean, just absolutely hammer and tongs there. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming and joining us for that.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that was definitely a highlight for me too. It was a lot of fun to share that with you.
So any chance you would do that in the winter series? You're fighting hard at the end. You're going to just come on, I'll just go in the booth and I'll talk to these guys and tell them what I'm doing?
Absolutely. Always an open door.
We'd love to see it. Thanks for joining us, Alex. Great night of racing for you. It was an absolute joy to watch you. Look forward to seeing you in that winter season. Meanwhile, we've got Zippy, I think, is going to have that really slippery little fox coming in there at the end, Val DiPietro.
Hi, Val.
Hi.
Thank you for coming in. And you must have been absolutely on the edge of your seat in that last race. Tell us how it went for you.
They were providing some excellent entertainment. And if I've been watching Spec MX5 or Global MX5 forever, and knowing just like you got to be there at the end. There's no point in making big moves. And I knew third place could hang with the top 2, so I just chilled behind him and then let the story unfold in front of me, I guess.
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic to watch. I mean, at first, Ellis and Rue, they were getting away a little bit. Then Hardman started to get into the mix, and then I was just about thinking, okay, I don't know if it's going to catch him. And you proved me wrong, and I'm very much okay with that. By all means, keep it up. I mean, it was fantastic to watch. It looked like you was really very controlled, looking at your steering wheel movements. There wasn't lots of overcorrection there. Question for you, though, Val. Are we going to see you in the main season coming into the winter?
Oh, I don't know. I've got prior engagements on Wednesday. We're currently in the off season of my other league.
Okay, well, not that I'm biased. I know BIS would love to see you. GSRC certainly enjoyed watching you, and so did the viewers at home. So if you want to let them down gently, that's fine. We'll understand. And we look forward to having you next season. Thanks very much.
This is not the last they've seen of me.
I want to see you back here. Thank you, Val.
Thank you.
So that was Val telling us about that interesting little catbird seat he had going on there. But, I think we need to have a little bit of a conversation with Michael Broomhead. He is the director. Is that your official title, Mike? Is it director of the series?
Oh, I don't know what my title is. I'm sure everybody has a different name for me. But just putting everything together, obviously. Having a good time while doing it, and if we don't focus on my racing, even better time.
No. So not focusing on your racing. Honestly, I've raced against you. I've seen you from time to time. I've commented races you've been on. That's not fair to say. I mean, you are a good racer. You have got some good moves. You have a good mind. You get out there and you race really well. This race, it was a fun race. Ended up 25th. It was still okay. I mean, that's just a fun race, and I think you had some fun tonight, right?
Oh yeah, a lot of fun. Thank you for saying that, by the way. Yeah, I definitely have good races, and I definitely have bad ones. And honestly, if you just go with it and just enjoy every moment of it, then all of them are good anyway. So yeah, it was a good time tonight. A lot of people coming out, and a lot of close racing. Everybody was respectful for the most part, I believe. And yeah, we all had a good time. And obviously, it's a gap between seasons, so we're looking to fill the grid for the Winter Series coming up.
So probably for some last comments, I understand Zippy wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Zippy, you had something you wanted to say?
Oh, absolutely. I'm never going to turn down an opportunity to see if I can make Mr. Broomhead blush. So you say you was on about going for the ride. There was some moments there, Mike, where you were along for the ride, but I agree as well. We've seen you drive. We know you can drive, but have you got any more information you can give us on the winter season? Any teasers for potential tracks? Amaze me, Mike. I know you can. I've watched you. Tease me.
We're going to tease you, right? Yeah. So we're running the Radical and the F1600s. Alternatively, every 2 weeks it switches. Well, every week it switches. Every 2 weeks is the same series. But yeah, we've got some good fun tracks. We've got Road Atlanta. We've got Brands Hatch. We've got Donington. Chicago is in there, actually. We think that'll be a good Formula 1600 track. A lot of back and forth. And we've got some old favorites, Phillip Island, Mosport, Laguna Seca. And that's both leagues, to be honest with you. So, like I say, Wednesdays, a lot of the guys tonight, I think 10 guys won't be able to make it on Wednesdays, but we've got a good bunch of people. Like I say, looking to get more, and obviously we have some sponsors coming. So I believe we have Advanced Sim Racing helping us out with the Radical series. Obviously, we want to have Radical Canada on board again. We're just going to be chatting with them, and we've got Turn One coming along. But we got to confirm everything, make sure that we have the right deals, the right partnerships, and make sure there's incentive. But we're building on that as well. And hopefully we get a lot of incentive for all the drivers to come out. But thanks again for you guys for putting on a great show. We're going to all watch it back now and see how Zippy does in his first time out. And Michael Johnson, we know you're excellent at what you do.
Thank you very much, Mike.
It is always fun. But yeah, folks, if you want to get even closer to this action, not just watching it, the winter season is coming up. Be sure to scan this code to join in on the Discord and get in on the racing action. As you see, there is great racing up and down this field. But I want to say thanks to the team today, Zippy, Ryan, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media, website, and merchandise store. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. Be sure to check out our other broadcasts listed here. And until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.
Wow.